Hello everyone and welcome to another SCPH replay, and we're gonna try a few upgrades into this one, and also whipping out something from the vault. Apparently I'm missing a few things, checking things out, looking at the folders, looking at the emails, and this one gonna be a pretty old one, that's for sure. I believe from patch 4.8, I believe, but never got around to do it, and this time it's time to pay my dues, it's time to pay my respects. And let's get in with the TVT. Introducing our players first. Here on the top left, we got RedVelvet on that red Terran. Here on the bottom right, so it's gonna be PhyNix rising from the ashes. Hopefully we don't get some big frame rate drops into this one, as we're trying out a few new settings to make this a little look crisp, a little look clean, and look good into the next. You guys have been asking for it, and I've been tweaking around in Starcraft to make it a really good show for y'all. Hopefully the overlay gonna be good with the damage health bars, with the new graphic settings. This should be good enough. I don't think I've rigged super strong to go for all the way with the epic, but in RTS these details are quite important. And let's stick it up on to the high mark. So welcome to a TVT again between the two. Standard wall on up from PhyNix and RedVelvet. Orbital Command pretty early here from PhyNix, really going for that econ game instead, but he will still have double refinery for that Reaper. In the meantime, quick factory coming our way, command center turning out to Orbital Command as well. Honestly, PhyNix and RedVelvet quite on point with their macro game so far. Every second counts, and by the 2-minute mark, both Terrans are already sending out some mules. So there you go, the mule looking for those minerals. What does mule even mean? Mineral unlimited lifting energy. I don't know. That's something we should find out sometime soon. By the way, a Reaper with those jetpacks waiting on at the wings. We are gonna see the map. Gonna be Cyber Forest LE. Think about Cyber Forest, quite a small map. Very quick to get to the other side. And in the meantime, the Reaper here of RedVelvet waiting at the wings. The gas though unused here on the second. RedVelvet getting one of these mineral clusters. Gonna be building up that expansion in just a bit. In the meantime, here for PhyNix, all about this one base 1-1-1. Pretty standard opening. Opens up the tech tree and you can juggle things around. Interesting to note though, PhyNix building up 2 Reapers, gonna have that one Hellion, gonna have a second one as well. So basically, his whole strategy involves going for a hit and run antic against his opposition. PhyNix kind of banking on a wall or a spot to actually thruster on in to be able to get those jetpacks on. But here we go again. Hellion Reaper opening between the two. Cluster bomb bounces that one out. And you can see a little bit of the micro here from both hand sides. Seems like the Reaper though, with that cluster bomb bouncing around his own units. Command center for the second being built, and PhyNix is still like, oh, lagging on out. We good to go. So the funny thing about replays in general, not just in StarCraft, but in pretty much all Blizzard games, that it doesn't really show the replay. It doesn't show the pause in the replay, so you see some chat lag, you see some pauses, you'll see a little bit of a desync with some communications, but overall it is a better experience. Just streamline the whole thing. Anyway though, reactor here for RedVelvet on that barracks, tech lab on the starports and the factory as well. In the meantime, this is going to be the barracks going for that reactor tech one more time, and we will see a Raven here for PhyNix. Ravens though, so good, quite cost effective in the unit structure. In the meantime, Cyclone moving on forward, and this is going to be PhyNix looking for a poker 2. Already, the blue hand side going for that tech lab on that starport, meaning Banshees with Cloak will be wailing on in perhaps, so he cancels that one out. Doesn't decide to actually go for it. Might not be the opening that he wants to go for. Doesn't want to be applying pressure through some stealth. Might be cheeky with some ghosts later on. Raven though, keeping an eye in the sky. We'll see if this is going to be enough here for PhyNix in terms of that defense. A brawl between the two. A few Reapers and a Hellion, I believe, do go down. PhyNix is starting to back on out. The Cyclone kept alive. And here we go with the siege tag here for RedVelvet. Looking at the army supply so far between the two, very even in terms of the military here. Worker supply though, RedVelvet in the lead. saturating his second a lot faster than his counterpart. Only going for the orbital command now is PhyNix. You can see the gas going to a very specialized place. It is going to be 2 Ravens in the sky and twin refineries being built really to keep the production line of those Ravens in check. The reactor though for starport, and really good thing to note that PhyNix is juggling around these attachments just like an acrobat. The barracks now all alone though, could be getting an upgrade for some stimpaks. We got combat shield, or no, speaking of stimpak, it's actually coming our way here for RedVelvet. But as I was saying, PhyNix might want at least one of those marine or marauder upgrades to make them a lot better. Can think of concussive shell. A marauder without concussive shell is not a true marauder. A marine with a combat shield, able to stay alive longer. Stimpak, really making these units count. Go for the attack speed, go for the move speed, and go for the start step action. By the way, seems like the mech play between RedVelvet and PhyNix are upon us. Ravens in the air, and in this patch, I think this was the time. Well, it wasn't really the time per se when the Raven was changed, but yeah, with all the changes in terms of what they have, we'll see how RedVelvet is gonna play this out. He's now on the outskirts of the base for PhyNix. We might see the Vikings though go for some pokes. The Marines are in position to go for the anti-air play, but seems like patrol is the way to go, getting some lot of energy, so keep an eye out on these spellcasters. RedVelvet setting on over to the side. We'll go for the siege on in one more time. Gets those circles of demise in this one. Hellion! Oh no! Immediately torn apart at the seams. Creeping Barrage is the name of the game for the shock cannons. RedVelvet waiting at the wings, waiting on the outside so far. PhyNix in the meantime just having a field day, deciding to macro and micro on up behind all of this. In terms of production though, we are going to see another factory here for PhyNix, and we are going to have the Vikings slowly but surely try to make it to the outskirts of his base. Honestly, RedVelvet taking this one by storm. It's a very, very smart decision to just siege up behind, in front of your opponent's base rather, when you know that they don't really have a ground-based composition to steamroll this. And behind that, he's building up 2 command centers, going for the 3rd, going for the 4th, going greed in terms of the economy. Interference matrix on point! And we do see the Raven now getting the vision, but that's going to be an eye matrix as well from PhyNix. Hits down those siege tanks. Here we go with the transformation. Star screams around, and the Vikings living on to fight another day. They're not lost whatsoever, and well done there for PhyNix to defend that play. So good use of the Vikings there, the interference matrix just interfering literally with those siege tanks and their shots. For now though, RedVelvet still not out of this game yet. Gonna go with some 28 supply though on the army, might be an opportunity for PhyNix, but no, he wants to play it slow and steady. As the Blue Terran didn't really get too much counter information with the siege tanks on the outside, he might think, oh, that's a next wave of reinforcements coming, not knowing that RedVelvet decided to play it smart and go for the macro-based economy kind of game sense instead. In the meantime though, is this for real? Is this really an upgrade we're seeing? Is this the plating plus Neosteel? I know it does make your bunkers into 6 and gives some armor to your structures. So is this really a wise investment early for RedVelvet? He doesn't have too much minerals and gas. He wants to use those minerals for some SCVs. But with these 4 bases here for RedVelvet, he has one as an orbital command, and the other going to be a staging ground. It's going to be the planetary fortress with a big, big cannon. Anyway though, PhyNix now able to creep on to the north hand side, puts up the center tower on the high ground as well. Missile turrets now looking good, looking great. I like the symmetry of this position. A number of Vikings though ready to go into play. That's around 11 Vikings here for PhyNix right now. Siege tanks again sets on up, really just creeping on forward to protect those sensor towers. And one here for PhyNix unguarded. He's trying to pretend, oh, I have a base here too, making RedVelvet think that's a 4 base versus 4 base squabble. So is this actually scouted out by RedVelvet? No, he just sees those circles waiting on at the wings. Gonna even go for that 5th. In the meantime, still an air-based composition here for PhyNix. We are gonna get +1 here for the side of RedVelvet. On the flip side, missile turrets are abound PhyNix as well. A little bit of supply block though, might need to work on the macro there. But overall, it's just pumping out units left, right, and center. Double pumped Vikings. Honestly, a unit I believe are underutilized, so strong in the anti-air components. Those autocannons tearing many things apart. We wouldn't believe what damage they can do. They can get swarmed though by small units, but overall the Vikings are quite a flexible unit to say the least. In the meantime, still a Viking mixing on the outskirts. Siege tanks already in a Congo line. We'll see what kind of angle. Maybe we'll see a shape here from RedVelvet sometime soon. The Marines though, waiting on the outside. Siege tank is set on up, and I'm liking these graphical upgrades that we did for our replays. It does look pretty stable so far. It's looking good, looking great. Meantime, let's go for a little bit of story time. So back in the day, I think I only got to play Starcraft on 4K Epic once in my life. It was such a glorious experience to behold. It's if you can make Starcraft really pretty, if your computer can handle it and stuff, and all the aspects like that, it's just an amazing sight. Every single bit of detail. Creep looks so alive. All the mechanics, all the circuits, all the servos on the Terran, you can really see just moving around. Feels like you're in a different planet. But I mean, high is fine too. It's not the worst, that's for sure. We have a few textures like that. It's like, it could be better. But it really goes to show that this game can get prettier and prettier, but also works in a similar vein in lower end systems. But anyway, Starcraft is a pretty old game, and we're pretty old gamers to boot. Starcraft 1, very old, the granddaddy of esports in the first place. I've been enjoying Starcraft cartoons so much casually. If people do want to send replays for Starcraft Remastered, I mean, we'll try to make it work. But we're focusing on Starcraft 2, as there are a number of tournaments coming our way for the Starcraft scene. First things first, there's gonna be that WCS, and second, there's gonna be the C Games for Team Sabal. Not only having Ender, but we'll be picking up a few finalists from a upcoming tournaments, or what do you call this? A preliminary stage to say the least. But yeah, anyway, back to the game. We are gonna set SimCity here and now, and when in doubt, as a Terran, come on, when in doubt, build Battlecruiser. These things are absolutely amazing. The fast fire rates just tears everything apart. The Yamato gun to go for those hefty targets. Now we will see 4 starports in a row here for RedVelvet. I love the symmetry. We're gonna have that fusion core there as well. The Marines though, go for some scouting, looking for a fight, trying to pick on the opposition. And honestly, RedVelvet is trying to be looking to free up some supply. And there you go, into the furnace they go, immediately torn apart. All those bodies just being bounced around. And that's such a bad way to go. You write to your parents, you write to your loved ones that you're doing great in the frontier, and you're sacrificed into the meat grinder just to build some bigger and badder ships. But then again, these bigger, badder ships are gonna be such good units to boot. In the meantime, PhyNix trying to do the same. Both of them looking for +2 on those ships, as well as that plating. So honestly, upgrades are not something neither RedVelvet nor PhyNix are forgetting. So where can we stay on the map? There's a lot of things going on in a lot of different places, but honestly, it's a whole lot of nothing so far. It's all about macro. It's all about trying to find out who's doing what, and then we see so many scans around the map already. It's come to a point where it's completely standstill. This might just be Battlecruiser versus Battlecruiser. No rush 20, no rush 30 even. So we're just waiting for a big fight to happen. The calm before the storm is creeping on forward. Now the funny thing PhyNix or RedVelvet can do is they try to expand on the same base. It looks like they are gonna do the same. So PhyNix is already going for the block, puts the supply depot in the way, puts a refinery on the right. In the meantime, RedVelvet sharing the ground, puts a refinery on the left. And honestly, this must be the start of something new. The start of peace treaty between these two Terrans. Unfortunately, it's never gonna be happening. So PhyNix is blocking these two bases. He is on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bases so far compared to RedVelvet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 The 6 bases ready to go here. Not gonna be PF here for the side of the outskirt base for RedVelvet. And we are coming so close to 200. What is this? What is this upgrade? Am I just not informed? But look at that. I think this is the first time I've honestly seen that starport upgrade. I think it's one of those reactors. I'm gonna try and check. Oh, we are gonna see the same. Come on, Daks. You're showing your amateur hour here, and now but we are gonna still have +3. We're gonna even get a plating from PhyNix. And it really is coming to a point where it is NR30 so far. Even more sensor towers. Gonna see some bigger, badder circles. We will see an engagement. 3 Marines versus a potential wall thing for PhyNix. He just wants to erect some monuments along the way. But overall, it's just in the way. It's just there. It's just trying to be pesky. We'll get a little bit of that scouting information just in case. But in the meantime, I love this base. I honestly love this base. It's a conglomerate of the two mules making some money. Looking at the economy is something we actually want to check out in this fight. Minerals and gas. RedVelvet heavily in the lead so far. And I remember now the red reactor, that Corvid reactor with the Raven going for that extra energy. To simply put, the whole tech structure, the whole strategy here right now for boats is to go for a composition that involves the Ravens, that involves battle cruisers and Jaws dominating the sky. Anti-armor so strong, especially with the fast fire rate, especially with these Vikings. It has turned into a Starfield Galactica. What is it called? Battleship Galactica. It's gonna be Star Wars, Star Trek, Starship Troopers, any kind of star. But basically, no, it's neither of those. It's EVE Online, guys. Come on, this is EVE Online right here, right now. Nothing else. People are gonna be salty about losing some ships. But think to note, RedVelvet does have a lot of minerals and gas behind this. So PhyNix finally getting the scan, sees the big army. Both sides just looking around trying to figure out where the ships are. And PhyNix might be a little scared. He's invested heavily on siege tanks on the ground. RedVelvet in the meantime just having a few ones at key locations. Tactical jump gonna be very important for the 16 battle cruisers. And here we go with the march. The Imperials are coming. Cue Darth Vader, but the Vikings in the way, tearing this one battle cruiser apart, and decides to go back for some repairs. And the SCVs trying to get into position. And damn, RedVelvet, this is a complete SimCity fiesta. Oh no, the battle cruisers are on top of the siege tanks, and PhyNix gonna lose every little bit of that scrap, nuts, bolts, and bodies. A smoldering pile there. Poor PhyNix. RedVelvet getting the perfect warp one in, but was that just a bait and switch? Because PhyNix now going for the attack. The Vikings tearing everything apart. Perfect focus fire, but the anti-armor in full effect. Look at that. Oh, the red, the orange glowing on it. Tactical jump to try and get away. The Raven now walking into that one, and we go for the brawl between the two. RedVelvet. Here comes the anti-armor one more time. Yamato guns are singing. The cannons are firing. The cannons are firing. And these Vikings, though, looking to mop on up the rockets versus the lasers. But the battle cruisers looking heftier and heftier. Who will take the win? PhyNix does a lot of Vikings, but look at that. Perfect Yamato gun there from RedVelvet. The Yamato cannon connecting onto the lone battle cruiser. And in the end, RedVelvet taking the W. But honestly, loss is so significant for both that they have to take a rest. And they have to figure out how they're going to go for the attack. Looking at the tabs right here, right now, what is left? Units killed for PhyNix. 71, 57 for RedVelvet. Workers, though, was 11. It was a little bit of a poke there from PhyNix a while ago. A little bit of a... What? So apparently, guys, we have stumbled into the first annual Cyber Forest Worker Picnic Coalition. We have RedVelvet sending some envoys on the outskirts just here and now, and yeah, more SCVs. What are the SCVs doing? They're going on trip in their favorite rocket ship. Where are they actually planning to go? Will the SCVs be for scouting? But the battle cruisers don't even flinch. They see things coming behind them and they're like, might as well just shoot them down. So for now, RedVelvet deciding to run his supply pretty much into the meat grinder. will rely on these mules to go for those minerals, and that is really why he's doing the orbital command tactic. With this many orbital commands, he doesn't need SCVs for minerals. It's all about gas instead, and he will just go with that army supply. And look at that, 70 workers here for PhyNix, but only 64 on the army. In the meantime, 142 for RedVelvet. He only has 50 supply for how many bases he has right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So honestly, the math doesn't check out, guys. I'm no math genius. Like I used to be back in the day, back maybe in high school, but not even high school, back in grade school, but not anymore. And I can tell you though, with basic math, that that's not the right mathematics. But anyway, we have RedVelvet putting the supply depot. I always wondered why can't the command center just still land on it, just squish it with its butt. But anyway, there you go. PhyNix now going for the spray. The SCV fades away. In the meantime, the battle cruiser now for RedVelvet coming on back one more time. 200 supply. Missile turrets though are singing at the blues, and we go for the Yamato cannons, tears apart that one command center. Tactic jump away. And honestly, this is my question for many players. Is this really just a syndrome of getting stuck in your ways? Like, when you're at the 200 mark, when you're at the ultra late game parts, you go for like the highest tier units. But why don't you just tech switch after all of this gets blown up? Like, there was a really big fight between RedVelvet and PhyNix. And if I wanted tier craft, maybe go for a Thor with a, what composition? Thor siege tank and a few Marine Marauders as well. But will it be enough? Honestly, might not be, because Battlecruiser is pretty much good at everything. So that's your answer right there. But in terms of fortifications like this is really smart from RedVelvet. Honestly, that's the point. You see all these missile turrets and you still send in your Battlecruisers. You can't just send in those few siege tanks you still have left. Of course, it will get a reaction because PhyNix will try to invest has invested rather some minerals heavily into the base defenses. So many scans! It's a scan fiesta everywhere on the map. Honestly, just give them the no fog of war cheats and it might be a better show. But yeah, you know, end all units are obviously the best thing you can do if they're fully upgraded, but at the same time, you can always throw a curveball. If only Thors were a lot better against air. If only Vikings could stay alive long enough against battlecruisers. We can go for Liberators, yes, but will they actually be that good? He'll get those salvo rockets to do that chain damage, but will it be enough? But no, when you can just do this, anti-armor in full effect. I actually want to see that Liberators with Ravens versus Battlecruisers with Ravens, who will take the win. But here we go with the hits, Yamato cannon singing, everything is orange on the screen. Those energy bars are filling on up, you can see plasma cutting left, right, and center. But PhyNix with the surround, will the formation actually matter? It seems like the DPS is the important part, but overall, PhyNix looking like he's actually focusing a few more targets better. But RedVelvet in the meantime just scattering things around, and those red Battlecruisers, they're just blowing up in the stratosphere. PhyNix and RedVelvet doing the same old tango yet again. But this time, they're pretty much out of minerals and gas. No, never mind. There's 8 and 9 coming for both sides. Pretty funny stuff. RedVelvet, that could jump away, and we get another reset into the game. So for now, what is to analyze here? It has become a Battlecruiser versus Battlecruiser Fiesta. Again, I'm trying to tier cap, going for some Liberators instead. But I think to note, PhyNix does win out a little more on the mineral and gas side. And look at these, so many mules again and again. RedVelvet having +3 on boats. Interesting that neither side has decided to invest a little bit on the +1, +2, +3 on vehicles. Might be a good tech switch just to blow up the base. And now, let's talk about the aircraft again. So you go Liberator Raven versus Battlecruiser Raven. I think the only big problem is after you go Liberator Raven, you don't really have anything to deal with structures. And I think that's a nail in the coffin there and then already. What do you guys think? Besides playing the meta, always bots, go for spirit crafting as a caster. Besides knowing my stuff, all I want to do is maybe think of strategies or think of some new ideas for you guys to tinker with as players. But overall, this is looking like honestly like a game where it's like a custom lobby. They're really trying to get some practice, some higher level stuff because they have been on point with the micro and the macro. But at the same time, it also feels like they're okay. We're at this point. What do we do now? Seems like PhyNix and RedVelvet going through some build orders, going through the finer tools, fine-tuning the early micro and macro. But at this point, they have already reached their peak. What else can they do? What would any self-respecting Terran player do? Honestly, of course, besides the Battlecruiser bulk, one thing they can really do would be some drops. Some Medivacs with some Thors, Medivacs with some Siege Tanks, Medivacs with some Marines Marauders, just getting some really good hits, not only honestly in just the economy anymore, but also in the tech structure. Taking care of some starports will allow a faster reinforcement cycle for your side in the future. Those cheeky plays, some window mines all around the map might be a little helpful as well. And what is this? RedVelvet doesn't even care. He's gonna try to land his orbital command on that base, just taking the land away from the Pioneers. Scans keep on coming. Maybe a nuke would help, honestly. Just one nuke somewhere to get some damage done. Well, of course, it won't insta-give the Battlecruisers, but if they do tactical jump into something, they're a little bit invested for quite a while. So cheeky Ghost might make a difference, and of course the Ghost can go for the EMP, will be effective against the BCs and the Ravens. One issue to note though, if the Ghost does get spotted before the Battlecruisers, the auto-fire will just take it down because the Ravens detecting everything. Now let's go for a little bit of story time again. Back in the day, I honestly thought science vessels had these cyber guys. I honestly thought that they were people in science vessels and now Raven. And Raven really shows that it's just someone operating this. There's no one inside the Raven in the first place. But yeah, here we go with the brawl though. Anti-armor. Does it connect? Did the tactical jump actually remove the debuff? No! And this is gonna be RedVelvet in a bad spot because the Raven 4! RedVelvet is all the way in the back. PhyNix getting the hits instead. Here we go with some chase sequence. Cue the Benny Hill music. Yamato cannons now singing at the blues. And RedVelvet caught with his pants down. Unfortunately here for the red hand side. But we are going to get the fight again. Yamato cannons going for the hits. Here comes the energy. Just singing away. Plasma one more time. And there's honestly not much to say about this. This is just, they're gonna smack at each other again and again and again. Let's zoom on out. It's the same thing again and again and again, going for the shots as much as possible. But PhyNix did get the initial advantage, and it's a slow burn to demise. What else can RedVelvet do? Maybe go for the micro, yes, but overall, this is all just about that DPS, and PhyNix are right now just at the heart of his opposition. Can anything be done by RedVelvet? He's trying to run away, but the thing about the Battlecruisers, whether for better or for worse, whether you think it's OP or not, they can shoot and move at the same time. There's so much pressure being applied. PhyNix right now tearing RedVelvet apart. He's screwing up a few Vikings as well as a pair of Battlecruisers. But this might be the slow demise of RedVelvet. It's coming to that point, guys. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if RV right now called for the GG, because PhyNix having a slew of Battlecruisers coming on back again at the armor right now onto the Vikings. The Battlecruisers turn things around, want to go for the takedown, realizes though there's only 2 left, can get one more takedown. Losses, 50k to 52,000. So many resources heavy. What is war good for? Absolutely nothing. Is that highlight worthy? No, it's just it's the same thing that happened again. It's the same thing that happened again and again. Battlecruiser, BC. Is this Starcraft 1? Is this Starcraft 2? Or is this just Shipbuilding Simulator 2019? Not a bad game though. We did see both players go for the maximum that they can do, trying to yoink each other's faces. PhyNix again putting up the supply depot. RedVelvet actually going for the long distance mine with some mules. Just goes to show how much of the map they've used up already. And we really are coming to a point where in StarCraft, why they make games faster, why all these minerals are being used up faster to end games on a quicker note, on some more epic action, even though there was a whole lot of nothing happening in this game. RedVelvet and PhyNix keeping on up with their macro. Now, unfortunately for RedVelvet, he's behind in minerals and gas and reversal of fortunes from what his predicaments a while ago. He is on the back foot. Let's look at that army supply. PhyNix now in the lead. There's one big reason now, guys, that the Raven is used and the anti-armor is that answer. Interference Matrix is good as well, single target though. But instead of those Seeker missiles going for basic damage, the Raven's taking up the support role instead, and Spellcaster is very useful in any game. You don't need to do the damage, they just need to enable your DPS to do something. That's what support is for. 155 to 121 workers kills, as well as RedVelvet decided to run those SCVs into the first place, into that poor sightline of that siege tank. Let's just give a little prayer to all the workers who have died in this game so far, for better for worse, just for that army supply. I wish there was a way where you could just, you know, decommission units instead of trying to get them killed in the first place. I don't understand though why you wouldn't do that. There is still some use for your old units. You can actually get some good damage done just in case. You can actually get a hit on the vital structure if you play it right. But sometimes people just take the easy way out, decide to run things in, get those takedowns. Honestly, with those SCVs, I would have loved if RedVelvet decided to go for a normal fight. And with the SCVs on the ground, going for the auto repair might have made the difference in a few aspects. At the same time, Marines, medevac. You'll build one medevac. You have so many starports. The afterburners are available at any time. Just pop it, just drop them down, let them get some hits onto a little bit of economy. So these are the moves that really separate the best from the best. Every little bit of action counts in an RTS. I'm already past the half hour mark. Holy crap, this game is going long. But we are on a standstill point. Both sides trying to max up again and again. I think this is the fourth time I've seen this game. It's almost the time to hit that fast forward button, because PhyNix and RedVelvet, you know, sometimes, I don't know if this is true or not, it really depends. But sometimes, they're K-pop bands, right? And they have this one sound, and even though it's a different song, it's like the same thing again. But it seems like both PhyNix and RedVelvet suffering from that syndrome. The turrets are coming on out. I see absolutely nothing besides battlecruisers. Oh, finally! Oh! PhyNix remembering, oh yeah, infantry is thing. Stimpack, combat shield, marine. Yay! I like it. +1 on infantry. I like it. I like marines. Period. I think in Starcraft 1 and 2, the base unit is really just one of the most balanced units in general. Zealot, Zergling, Marine. Always find their niche. Always find an opportunity to use it in the first place. RedVelvet though, versus the Marines. The lasers do connect. Tactical jump, and here we go with this round. Never mind. Light speed. Away we go, Captain. This poor Orbit Commando will take the bulk of the damage. Sensor tower blown up. One circle gone from the map. And PhyNix at the 200 mark. This has to be GG already. The moment these two teams fight, Vikings out onto the ground, cleaning up these missile turrets. Where are the battlecruisers? Just waiting there, gonna get scanned on up. And PhyNix knows it's time to go for the killing blow. The coup de grace, if you will. Because here we do realize that he has that supply lead. The Marines coming forward first might not be the best idea, because they're just getting torn apart by the moving battlecruisers. Like, if you want to do that, you send in the BCs first, and then you go with the Marines. What he's trying to do, of course, is he wants to get the Raven to get those anti-armors to connect without getting his at the same predicament. That's what the Marines were for. And honestly, maybe it did work out a little bit, as PhyNix does have a little bit of the advantage, but RedVelvet playing it smart, playing it home ground. It's gonna be the missile turrets, and PhyNix can decide, okay, it's time to back on now. It's not the best fight to take with all those turrets pointing on upwards. Oh, RedVelvet, is he ambitious? Does he actually want to go for it? Gonna go for that takedown, perhaps? Seems like it's not gonna be the case. A little bit of the resets, and I've come to the point where I'm just putting my chin down, putting my arm on the table, just feeling a relaxation into this game instead of, honestly, some more action. More manor mining, more long-range mining here. They are really starved for minerals and gas, aren't they? And oh, RedVelvet. RedVelvet! He has to protect this, I realize, because this is the only gas that's left for him to use, and that's only 500! Oh no, Red Velvet. This is all in the red. All in the red. All in the red. All in the red. There's no more gas in the map. Oh my god, there's no more gas in the map. It's actually happened, guys. For Red Velvet, PhyNix will have a little more in the bank. But honestly, there's just not enough anymore to go around. Is this the Earth by the 2100s? Because fossil fuel is gone. Hopefully by then we find solar, wind, whatever. Maybe even just grinding cockroaches into energy. Can that happen? Can that happen? I don't know. But damn, no more gas. It's a shortage. There is no surplus anymore. And I think we're back to the Stone Age, guys. Back to the Marines. Only the minerals can be used up. And yes, the barracks now kicking people off ships. We don't really have anything to fuel our flyers anymore, so it's time for you guys to grab a gun and go, go, go! It's come to that point, and here we go with the fights. Red Velvet does use up his army to go for his investments. The guns are singing, and these poor Marines who went for the scouts just torn apart at the scenes. Combat shield though, really having that extra design, and dude, I'm loving the upgrades we're doing. I should have done this a lot earlier, but I'm just happy that we're at this point right now. A good game to debut our brother antics, and honestly, if we even have a higher rig, we can make it even prettier. But now, let's just watch the plasma blow everything up. Tactical jump to get on away. The Marines now coming forward. Yamato gun hitting absolutely nothing. Seems like he wants to go for the light space chase down. But you might see a fight here and now between the battle cruisers, and they are gonna get torn apart at the seams. PhyNix is putting his BCs out in front, parking it up. Red Velvet losing so much into this fight. And this might be over. This actually might be the show. Because while PhyNix and Red Velvet are pretty much out of money, PhyNix does have more BCs compared to this opponent. So what does that actually mean here and now? PhyNix can slowly but surely chip away against the opposition. He is still getting some minerals so he can keep producing. And speaking of production, 1 BC gonna be the last one for us. Guys, you have to realize that green number is getting 0. It has come to that point where there is just nothing anymore. +0. This has to be the end. And PhyNix and Red Velvet back from the space age 2, throwing sticks and stones to each other, back to World War I. Honestly, it's a very good social commentary on the fact that if you run out of fossil fuel of gas in the world, this might be the situation we're in. But anyway, Red Velvet still having a lot of minerals in the bank. We might see some starter step action. We might see some micro actually matter into this game. 38 minutes in. How long can we go? Here we go with the scans. But PhyNix does have the advantage. And the SCPs, the worker revolution is coming on upon us. Is this France? Parsley. C'est vous français, omelette du fromage. As the worker revolution out in front, the Marines using them as a shield. The angry mob going for the drills. It seems like since they're out of the job, it's time to just kill everything in their sights. The battle cruisers does have the space. But this is the best fight, really. The missile turrets are abundant here, and now the SCVs going for the chase down. The Marines hiding behind the missile turrets. We go for the Yamato cannons again. The Vikings being torn apart now, and PhyNix might be overreaching, overextending. Might not be the best time here and now for the blue hand side. What can PhyNix honestly do? If he tactical jumps here, that's the show. That it has to be the show. Instead of trying to poke the missile turrets away, instead of trying to do this, there you go. He realizes it, and this has to be a game. Find the production line that's making all these units, tear them apart, and tear apart all those guards. Game over, man. Game over, man. Battle cruisers here from PhyNix, able to win it out by the end. He was able to save enough. He was able to use enough. He was able to get so much value from that anti-armor. And the GG finally called. PhyNix taking the win. What a game. A whole lot of nothing with a whole lot of something. Battle cruisers sing at the blues. We get a recession, we get a depression, and now we get a win for PhyNix. So I'm a little sad that it's taken this long for this replay to come out, but it was worth the wait. I know I have another replay that's quite long, and we are now pretty much done with everything prior to the month of July. So we'll be getting on that. Thank you guys for sending in so many replays, especially people who sent more than one in. I think there's someone who sent in 8. So we'll probably have to figure out how to cycle that. I don't think I'm gonna get to go through all 8 of those games, unless it's for practice or something. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So we'll see how we're gonna get the casting done for those games. But thank you guys for all the supports. I wish you luck for the C game preparations for WCS, for everything coming into Starcraft PH. I thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good night. Or good morning, whenever you watch this.